G'day guys, it's Kev here from Kev's Collectibles. Welcome back to another haul. Hey look, I know it's been a long time since my last video, but just to keep you guys up to date with what's been happening with me, been crazy busy at work, been doing a lot of travelling out of town. Also the landlord is wanting to sell his house, so I'm in the process of moving. So my books are kind of like kept in different locations at the moment. But the good news is I'll be buying my first home, which is going to be basically an apartment. So I'll be moving into there, so my little man cave of my own soon. And also we had a couple lockdowns, but thankfully the New Zealand government got onto it pretty quickly, and now we're all back to normal. So all is good. But anyway, back into it. No excuses anymore. And stay tuned. I'm actually going to be giving away a really awesome book. So yeah, but let's get cracking into it. The first book I have is Star Wars: The Clone Wars: Defenders of the Lost Temple from March 2013. Now, this is a digest or mini comic book size book, and this book became extremely popular after comicbookinvest.com or CBSI wrote an article about it. So basically, what makes this really special is that it's the first and only time Bo-Katan, who's played by Katie Sackhoff in the Mandalorian series, appears in comic book form, and it's arguably also the first appearance of Darksaber in comic book form as well, because this book predates Star Wars Darth Maul, Son of Dathomir, #1 from 2014 by a whole year, which is the traditional comic book format. So this book is obviously, as I mentioned, a really major key because Bo-Katan is, a major player in the Mandalorian series, and it's pretty clear that in the future, in the next season, most likely, she's going to be bumping heads with Mando. She needs to get the Darksaber off Mando in actual combat in order to become the legitimate leader of Mandalore in the future. Whether she has to take on Mando himself to get that lightsaber back, or someone beats Mando up and takes the lightsaber for themselves and she has to take them on in the future, we don't know. But anyway, Bo-Katan is a pretty major character, and she doesn't appear in any other comic books or comic book formats other than this book, and that's why this book is really important. I was lucky enough to jump onto this book straight away after actually watching that episode when it was screened, and I bought this on eBay straight away after. It's not in the best condition, as you can see. It's got a bit of a rub there, but it's in pretty decent condition, and I'm pretty stoked to have it. Now, the thing I love about this book as well is its rarity. There's only 3,000 copies of it ever printed. It's printed by Dark Horse as well. So obviously Disney don't have the license for Star Wars, and Dark Horse will not be reprinting this again. So there's only 3,000 copies in existence. Now, the other thing I really love about this book is that I'm a real sucker for is basically the story. So I'm a real sucker for, hunting for treasure, Indiana Jones style, sort of ancient temples and that kind of thing. And this book pretty much has it all, and I'll take you through it. So basically, the story is that there's Jedi Master Bink Utrilla and her Padawan Renix Amani. There's Utrilla there, and her trooper squad are searching for an ancient artifact on the moon of Dre 2. And this artifact is called the Gauntlet of Kresh Younger, and it basically, whoever wears that gauntlet is immune to damage. And basically it was made like about 6,000 years before the destruction of the first Death Star by a Sith Lord who wanted to protect his son. So he made this artifact and gave it to his son in order to protect his life. But anyway, here's the team here, and here's the ancient temple. They open up the ancient temple. They go through many trials to get through. There are like security measures in place. One of the first ones is this big, it's like I guess a stone golem sentry, which is this thing here, which attacks them. And you know they're firing their blasters, using their lightsabers on it to try and defeat it, and it's completely impervious to all that damage. But what the Jedis figure out is that they can use their Jedi power and basically turn the mechanism off that's in its chest and stop it from attacking. But anyway, long story short, they go through some more trials and they finally uncover the gauntlet, which is basically right in here in this little chamber, and as you can see, that's the gauntlet right there. But at this time, Vizsla comes in with a Death Watch squad and tries to take it from them, Pre-Vizsla and his team, and part of his team has Bo-Katan, who's right there. But she never takes her helmet off. You just see her in her armor. And obviously, Pre-Vizsla wants to get this artifact for himself and use it, because obviously it's very powerful. And essentially they have a massive fight, and the temple starts to crumble around them. And at the end, one of the troopers called Glitch, he's actually force sensitive, kind of saves the day, and they believe he dies while the temple collapses. But he actually has the gauntlet. He picked it up, and it allowed him to survive. And what he does in order to, that's him there, in order to not the gauntlet not to go into enemy hands, he throws it into the river here, and saves the day. So it's a really awesome story and a very cool book. So if you can get this, you should. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's a great book. Okay, next book I have up. Again, this was showcased on CBSI's website, comicbookinvest.com. Let me just move my camera over here. This is Star Wars Tales from the Clone Wars 2010. Now, the significance of this book is it's the first comic book form appearance of the bounty hunter Cad Bane. Now, obviously, everyone considers Darth Maul number 2 from 2014 as the it's the first comic book standard version or appearance of Cad Bane, which is true, but this predates it by a whole 4 years. So he appears in the second to last story over here, which is here. So this bounty hunter over here is actually hunting Cad Bane down, and he goes into this little bar, and you think, oh yeah, that's the first appearance of Cad Bane there, but it's actually it's a decoy trap, and the trap is sprung, and Cad Bane, which appears for the first time right here, and over here, actually the trap is sprung, and the hunter becomes the hunted in the end. The other cool thing about this book is that it's the first time you see, well, it's the origin story of Grievous, General Grievous, and it shows him unmasked, or before he had the the mask on. He's pretty grotesque. He almost looks like the Predator in some ways. So that's a really cool story as well. And that's him there, obviously, in his full robotic setup there. The other cool things about this book is it's pretty rare as well. So apparently only just over 2,000 copies were ever printed, and again by Dark Horse. So there's not that many copies out there, and this again won't be reprinted again. It also has a foreword from Dave Filoni, who is one of the obviously creators of the Mandalorian show, as you can see here. And the other cool thing I really love about it is it has at the end this really cool section showing various artwork. That's Cad Bane there, but all these really cool sketches. There's a particular one here at the back which shows Ahsoka as well, and you see that it's really cool. I'll just show you a few more. And the other cool thing about this book is that it comes with these promotional posters, which I will show you. They're quite large, so I can only show you like bits at a time, but there's Dooku there, Grievous, Sarge Ventress, Cad Bane. That's like the dark side or villains poster, and then there's the light side poster. You got Obi-Wan, Aura Singh, Barriss Offee, here you go, Mace Windu, and I think there's also there's Yoda and Anakin Skywalker. There's obviously Ahsoka, and yeah, so pretty cool book to have. Now, this book, when it was first announced, it created quite a buzz, and some copies were selling for like $800 on eBay. But I guess the market was pretty much flooded, and now it's gone down quite a bit in price. I think you can get them for about $100 to $150. But the value for money out of that book, and obviously its significance, I think you should snap it up if you can for cheap. Again, there's only 2,000 copies of this book. There are not many around, and they won't be reprinting them again. So keep your eye out for that. And it's a real fun read as well. Oh, and I forgot to mention that what it is, it's a collection of comics or web comics from a website during the Clone Wars screening animated show, and basically they took the website down and collected all those web comics and then put them all into that book. The next book I want to talk about is Screen Comics Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 7 Volume 1, and this is a pretty recent book from 2020. Now, again, this is another small sort of like comic book form book, not your traditional comic book format, but now the significance of this book is that it's the first and only appearance of the Bad Batch, and obviously they've got a new Disney Plus series coming up soon. And obviously the Bad Batch are, for those who don't know, is an elite group of misfit clone troopers who get their own, who are sort of like a ragtag crew, not your typical clone troopers. There they are there on the front. Now, the weird thing about this book is it actually doesn't show any hand-sketched art. It's kind of like screenshots from the actual episodes. But nevertheless, it is still the first appearance of the Bad Batch crew. This is them stepping out here. So you've got the key members. You've got Hunter, who is the leader. He's this guy here. And basically Hunter obviously is the leader of the Bad Batch, so he's a great leader. But the cool thing I like about him, and he's my favorite actually out of this team, but he uses a vibro knife like the one that Mando has, and he likes to get up close and personal with his enemies and take them out with a knife. The other character here is Crosshair. That's this guy here. He's got kind of got like whitish hair. Now he's the team's crack shot sniper, and obviously uses a sniper rifle, and he never misses. The other guy here is Tech. He's this guy here, and Tech basically, as his name alludes to, he's like a bit of the brains of the squad, and his specialty is hacking into computer systems, and he likes to dual wield laser blasters. And the last guy is Wrecker, and he's this guy. He's like kind of like blind in one eye, and he's like the tank or brute of the team, the muscle. Basically, he uses this rapid firing blaster rifle, and also a large knife. So the rifle he uses is a bit like Cara Dune's in the Mandalorian. So yeah, this book it goes for pretty cheap. I think I bought it for like $15 US. It's a pretty cheap, pretty cool book to have. And like I said, it's the first and only appearance of the Bad Batch. So yeah, try and get your hands on that. Next book I want to talk about is Star Wars number 81 from 1984, March. Now, this book is pretty popular at the moment, and the reason for that is that it's actually, the story talks about or shows how Boba Fett escapes from the Sarlacc pit. So, I'll go through that and show you, but the story is pretty cool because what it does is obviously it shows how Boba Fett gets out of the Sarlacc pit, but it's a little misleading. So I'll get into that. But the story is Han and Leia are trying to rescue R2-D2, who's been, I guess, held captive by the Jawas on their sandcrawler on Tatooine. So it's basically a rescue mission, and they go down to Tatooine to rescue him. And this is the bit where it shows how Boba Fett gets out of the Sarlacc pit. So obviously in the movie, Boba Fett gets knocked into the Sarlacc pit, and then the barge, Jabba the Hutt's barge, blows up, and they escape in this little speeder or carrier. And this is the bit where Boba Fett escapes. So it looks like the Sarlacc pit burps him out for some reason. I'm not sure whether Boba Fett was firing his blasters or did something in there to make him burp him out, but he got burped out. And when he got burped out, he kind of like landed heavily in the sand. Actually, it's over here. It kind of shows in the bottom there, see? And he's kind of knocked unconscious. And the Jawas come across him, and they think he's like a droid that's just been left in the sand dunes, and they pick him up and they load him up into the sandcrawler. And this is where Han Solo and Leia appear, and they, as I mentioned, they go to rescue R2-D2 from the sandcrawler that Boba Fett's in. Anyway, Boba Fett comes to, but he's lost all of his memory. He's kind of like got amnesia. So over here, you can see him just all confused and just not really realizing what's going on. And he even sees Han, and he doesn't even recognize him. Now, the crazy thing is Boba Fett actually comes to and remembers Han and is about to blast him, and the crazy thing is that Boba Fett lands inside another Sarlacc pit, and he's trapped inside the sandcrawler. So he's kind of like gone back to the start again. So I mean, in the book of Boba Fett, I'm not sure if they're going to show this entire story in there. Who knows, they might do. But yeah, they might show a portion of it, like the first bit and how he escaped, but I don't know. So fingers crossed that happens. And finally, as I mentioned before in my previous video, I'm getting really into these Star Wars Insider books. So here is Star Wars Insider number 117 from April 2010. It's pretty old. Now I have all 3 editions, so this is the newsstand regular edition. Kind of jumped the gun on that one. This is the subscriber exclusive Virgin current cover variant, and my absolute favorite insider cover of Boba Fett. This is the comic store exclusive edition. Now I'm going to open up, so all those 3 are basically the same thing, just different covers. Now I'm going to open up this book and go through it with you guys. It's a really cool look into what these magazines hold. Just move my camera back a little bit, but so it goes through all these various facts, but there's a story in here which talks about the actor Daniel Logan, who played Boba Fett as the young Boba Fett in the prequel movies, and he's actually a New Zealander as well. But yeah, it just goes through his story and his acting in the movie. And here's another article on various bounty hunters and how they've kind of designed them in the Clone Wars, which is pretty cool. But my favorite story is, and this is the other one. This is the Duchess and the Jedi. So basically the Duchess, who's related to Bo-Katan, in fact, had a romantic relationship with Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Darth Maul ended up killing her in front of him. And so you know, trying to get Obi-Wan to obviously, you know, go all angry and go to the dark side to manipulate him, but he didn't do that in the end. But my favorite story is over here, which is coming up. Oh yeah, here it is. This is really cool because it talks about Boba Fett, right? His journey from his original origins, but it also talks about all the various comic book appearances of him and all the various different comic books he's appeared in over time. So it's actually a really good, I guess, reference material to pick out other key books related to Boba Fett. But anyway, it's a really cool magazine. So now let's get up to the prize giveaway that everyone is waiting for. So let me grab this book. Okay, so I will be giving away to some lucky person another copy of this book, Star Wars Tales from the Clone Wars. So to be in the draw, you need to be a subscriber, you need to make a comment in this video, and you also need to like this video. And the moment I hit 200 subscribers, I will make a draw and I'll make an announcement of who the winner is in the next video. If they don't claim it within, or contact me within 7 days after that draw, I'll do a redraw again. But anyway, yeah, good to be back, and good luck to those who enter the draw, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Catch you later. Bye.